Hello there. It's Krystal Diaz here. My name is Krystal Diaz. I am a singer and vocal coach at CSMA Studio and co-founder of the online vocal academy. Let me switch this fan off here for a second. And hello, everybody. I hope that everyone is having a good Monday. Happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend and that you spent it doing something that you enjoyed. So, yesterday we took the kids to a birthday party, which was wonderful. And then we also spent the afternoon outside. So, that is something that I haven't done in a long time. Just sit outside and enjoying the sunshine, sitting on grass, and letting the kids run around. And so, it was a really, really lovely way to spend the afternoon. So, I hope that wherever you are, wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I hope that you enjoyed I hope that you enjoyed your weekend. All right, so today I'm back for another live tip, a live training, and today we're going to be talking about mixed voice. So mixed voice is something that is definitely can cause a lot of confusion and is definitely something that comes up a lot in our vocal training, so in our vocal lessons. So the goal today is to try to simplify this concept of mixed voice a little bit. So I want to answer the question, what is mixed voice first of all? And also, how do you know if you're mixing or not? And I'm also going to leave you with 3 tips that's going to help you develop mixed voice in your own singing. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. So what is mixed voice and how do you know if you're mixing or not? And also I'm going to give you 3 tips that'll help you to develop your mixed voice. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know. But in the meantime, let's dive straight into the training. So first of all, what is mixed voice? I think that this can definitely cause a lot of confusion. It did confuse me when I was growing up and studying and vocal training as well, because I used to think of mixed voice as a specific location in the range. I thought mixed voice was a series of notes or a particular area in the vocal range. And then I discovered that that actually can lead to a lot of confusion for me. And I see that happening with my students as well, that thinking of mixed voice as a specific area in the voice can be like specific notes on a piano, for example, can be quite confusing. And so what I think is more helpful is to think of mixed voice as an acoustic tonal quality. I want you to think of mixed voice like a color. So first of all, what are we mixing? We are mixing, it's a blend, a combination of both chest tone and head tone. So chest tone, in simple terms, it's simply put, it's kind of like where we're speaking. So right now I'm using predominantly chest tone or chest voice to talk to you. And when you're having conversations with other people too, you're predominantly using chest voice to create sounds. Now, what is head tone or head voice? Head voice is usually the area where your high notes are. You know, if you go down a slide and you're like, wee, that has a headier tonal quality. So that's, in a nutshell, what head voice is. It's lower register and upper register. But what I want you to think about it is not in terms of where it is in the voice, but what it sounds like. I want you to think of it in terms of tonal coloring. If you think of chest voice, for example, or chest tone as, say, red, and then say we think of head tone as yellow, then mixed tone, mixed voice, is a nice blend or combination of both red and yellow. Red and orange, right? So let me put this again. Red and yellow make orange. So if chest tone were red and head tone were yellow, then combined together, mixed tone would be this warm orange tone. So this is just an example as a way to get you to start understanding what mixed tone is and to think of mixed tone as a blending of 2 contrasting colors. Okay, so now that we kind of have an understanding of what mixed tone is, well, how do you know if you're actually mixing or not, right? So generally speaking, if you are singing and you notice that you're cracking or you're flipping, or maybe you're struggling to hit high notes, or you're yelling, or you're straining, or on the reverse side, perhaps you're really breathy, or it's hard for people to hear you, or you're running out of air very, very easily, then those we can think of those as symptoms, or we can think of those as signs, as a clear sign that something is probably off balance in your vocal technique. Okay, so something is probably off balance. However, and here's an important point. Just because you're off balance, it doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't mixing. Okay, so just because you're a little bit off balance, it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually aren't mixing. And here's where things can get a little confusing, because I think singers and vocal students, we can tend to get really hung up on whether or not we are mixing. Am I mixing? Is that mixed voice? Is that not mixed voice? And we can get really hung up on that. And in fact, if you Google search mixed voice on the internet, it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole here. It's very easy to start watching videos about it and reading about it and getting further and further and trying to understand, am I mixing or am I not mixing? And at the end of the day, that really doesn't help you to become a better singer. So what I would rather you think about is not whether or not you're mixing, but whether or not you're mixing in a way that's balanced. Whether or not you're mixing in a way that is balanced. And that is really the most important thing. Because chances are, if you've been singing for some time, or you have a little bit of experience in singing, then you're probably mixing already to some certain degree. So you probably have some chest voice, you probably have some head voice, and maybe in the middle you do have that nice blend here and there. But if you're struggling, or you're finding that you have limitations in your singing, then it's probably more likely that you're just mixing in a way that's unbalanced. So there's a big difference between mixing in a way that's balanced and mixing in a way that's unbalanced. All right, so now this begs the question, how can we practice having a more balanced mixed voice? Well, I'm going to give you 3 tips here to hopefully help you to discover how to develop a more balanced mixed voice in your own singing. So first of all, tip number 1 is, in order to develop a balanced mixed voice, you have to first know where it is that you're off balance. So for example, are you verging, when you're singing, do you tend to put in too much chest voice? Are you, in other words, do you tend to be very loud, or do you tend to strain a lot? Do you notice that your volume is quite high whenever you're singing, or that you feel a lot of tension in your throat? Those are indicators that you're probably too far in the chest tone side of your mix, chest tone side of your balance. So then what would be the solution for that? The solution would be to find exercises, to practice exercises that encourage more head tone, right? So it's all a balancing act. It's all about balancing colors. That's why I love this analogy of thinking of acoustic sounds as color tones. Because if we know that, okay, I feel like I'm very heavy, I'm probably straining, that's probably an indicator that I'm off balance towards chest voice, towards chest tone. So then the solution would be to find exercises that encourage the other side of the scale, which would be encouraging exercises that encourage more of a lighter sound, to encourage more of a head tone mix coming into your singing. Now, the reverse is also true. If you find that you tend to be more on the breathy side, or that you have troubles belting, or you have troubles being heard, or you're running out of air very, very quickly, then you're probably off balance, but verging more towards the head tone side, the head voice side. You probably have far too much head voice mixed in to the balance of your sound. So then the solution would be to practice exercises that help to encourage more chest voice into your singing, to help encourage more chest tone, to balance you out. Again, the goal is not to have more head voice or to have more chest voice. It's to understand where it is that you're off balance. First of all, where are you off balance? Are you off balance towards the chest voice side? Are you off balance towards the head voice side? And then the solution would be to practice exercises that can shift you more towards middle ground, to have that more even balance. So that's tip number 1. So again, tip number 1 is in order to develop a balanced mixed voice, you have to first know how it is that you're off balanced. Okay, so what's tip number 2 for developing a more balanced mix? Tip number 2 is you have to learn by doing, not by thinking. And so let me explain what I mean by that. So I put this out here because I've gone down this route too. Reading about mixed voice or watching demonstrations of other people doing mixed voice, demonstrating mixed voice, is not really going to help you to develop it in your own voice, because really it's all about understanding exactly how your voice is specifically off balance. So, and that is actually going to be a little bit different for everybody. So the best thing that you can do is to learn by doing. And what is it that you have to do? It's vocal exercises. Vocal exercises are the key to really understanding and exploring your range fully. You can't really understand your voice fully if you're just singing songs all the time. You have to do vocal exercises, because vocal exercises will help you to explore the full capabilities of your range, and help you to understand all the little areas where you may be off balance. Vocal exercises is the only way that you can really learn how to do that. So if you're not sure what vocal exercises to do, I have a freebie for you. Simply go to onlinevocalacademy.com/quiz. That's onlinevocalacademy.com/quiz. Just answer 5 questions. And then after you answer 5 quick questions, you'll get a full strategy plan of what is most likely getting in the way of your sound, and you get to download a free vocal exercise routine that is based on your answers. So if you're looking for some exercises and you want to get started on that, then visit onlinevocalacademy.com/quiz. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 2 is that you got to learn by doing, and the thing that you got to do is vocal exercises. That's the best way to discover your voice and understand where it is that you're off balance, and understand how you can start to rebalance your mixed voice. All right, so tip number 3 here, coming to the end. Tip number 3 is you have to know that a balanced mixed voice has a very, very specific vibrational sensation. It feels a certain way and it sounds a certain way. So as singers, we all have to train ourselves to become very, very hypersensitive to the way that our voice sounds and feels, because it's going to be very specific to you. I've heard of singers talk about mixed voice in terms of coloring. I've heard of singers talk about mixed voice in terms of how it feels vibrationally. So there's many different ways that singers will describe it. So it is important for you as a singer to learn to discover what a balanced mixed voice sounds and feels like vibrationally to you. And how do you do that? There are 2 ways that you can do that. The first way is by self-recording. So in the Online Vocal Academy Inner Circle monthly membership program that we do go through, we teach our students a 5-step process for how you can go about self-recording and practicing in a way that's going to give you results. But simply put, you can totally do this on your own. You want to get used to recording yourself. You want to get used to having records of yourself. You don't have to show this to anyone either. Recording yourself, watching back, and just getting your ear used to the way that your voice sounds. As a listener, that's going to help you to become a lot more sensitive to the way that your voice sounds. And then the second way to do that, the second way to learn to discover how to become more sensitive to the way that your voice sounds and feels is really by getting feedback. Getting feedback, ideally from an experienced vocal coach who can not only hear where you're off balance, but can give you specific tools that will help you balance yourself out again. So a vocal coach will be able to tell you, okay, there's way too much chest voice here, there's way too much head tone here, or there's some things happening here that's off balance. These are the specific exercises that you can use to find balance, to realign yourself again, to realign your instrument. So yes, can you do this by yourself? You can. You can do that self-recording method where you're just recording yourself, you're practicing, and then you're reviewing your recordings and you're making adjustments and then practicing again. But you have to be really, really diligent at that, and you have to really persevere. And oftentimes you're going to be guessing. If you're on your own, you can absolutely do it, but you will be guessing. So it's far, far better to have a couple of lessons with a vocal coach, to have them listen to you and guide you so that you know where you're off balance and specifically what exercises you can use to find your way back to a better balanced sound. And the more you do that, the more you start to become aware of the sensational, like the vibrational sensations of a balanced mixed voice. And once you feel that and you learn to hear it, you can replicate it. You can be consistent so that every time you sing a song, no matter what song you're singing, you know exactly what a balanced mixed voice feels and sounds like, so that you can return to that sound. You can be consistent in that sound every single time that you perform. All right, so those are the 3 tips that you can use that'll help you to find better balance in your voice. Today we were talking specifically about mixed voice, so I hope that was helpful for you. And again, if you find yourself that you do find that you are struggling with your voice, that you have areas in your voice that seem to be off balance, that maybe seem to be too heavy or seem to be too light, then I hope that you will take advantage of this free vocal assessment quiz, onlinevocalacademy.com/quiz. Check out, just answer 5 questions, and then you will get a full summary of what are some of the causes of some of the vocal challenges that you may be experiencing. Plus, you get to download a free vocal exercise routine that's specifically targeted to help you with those areas. So I hope you find that helpful. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that this was interesting and enjoyable for you all. And I'll see you again next week for a new quick tip. Bye for now.